Madam Secretary, thank you so very much for your testimony and for being here. There's two sets of questions. One dealing with the Board of Directors. You mentioned 13. Could you expand on who is on the Board of Directors and how they are selected?
I will do that. It actually tries to be very fair, and I don't have that with me, do you? Basically, it's 13. Each of the stakeholder groups will be able to nominate a certain number of people, like general aviation, they'll nominate 2. Airlines will nominate 2. And then it comes to the Secretary of Transportation, and she appoints some, and then she accepts the nominations of the the stakeholder groups with who they recommended.
Obviously, we're rather interested in that because
Yes,
that
of
is
course.
the power structure, and I take it at the moment that that is not yet defined in a specific proposal.
The initial board is, and I'm remiss in not being able to specifically mention that, and I'll ask my staff to give it to me right now. And then that will be, but basically the principle, thank you. Okay. It says here, the initial board, the board will represent stakeholders, so we want the stakeholders to be in.
We would like to know who the stakeholders are.
Oh, okay. It'd be the major airlines, unions, 2 of the largest aviation groups, AOPA, NBAA, 2 of the largest airport trade groups, ACINA and AAAE. And then 2 members will be selected from the airlines list, 2 members from the unions list, 1 member from the general aviation list, 1 from the airports list, 2 will be selected by the Secretary of Transportation.
So ultimately, the Secretary of Transportation will have the responsibility and the authority to select the individual members from a list presented by by those stakeholder groups. So the
Yes.
power resides with you
I can only,
and your successor.
well, whoever the Secretary of Transportation is would select, this is the initial, so I would select out of the nominees that are presented to me.
I understand.
I can't go out to like other people or whatever.
Well, we know this game and we understand how that works. My second set of questions deal with the issue of the $5 billion that would be transferred immediately to the new organization. Is that correct? That's the Aviation
That has
Trust
not
Fund?
yet been decided.
I thought in your testimony you said there's $5 billion that would be available to the new organization. That's the Aviation
No, I'm just
Trust.
saying the $5 billion up to now, the funds, which is over $5 billion in the Aviation Trust Fund, is not used by FAA at this point. So it's like you have this huge fund. People paid more into it than you
understand
spend
that,
out. So
But what are you proposing to do with that money? Are you
that
proposing to
again is the
transfer it?
capitalization. So we want to discuss with Congress on how to deal with that.
I'm sorry, please, I didn't understand that.
This is part of the capitalization of the new entity.
So that money
So
would
no
be,
decision has been made on that. Let's put
it
it
seems
that
to be a rather important issue. You've mentioned capitalization a couple of times. You've also mentioned that the organization would have the opportunity to go to the private money market,
Yes.
borrow money, and to do that. But is it the intention of this legislation to transfer the $5 billion, actually it's $6.7 billion, and the administration in its budget proposes to increase the fund, that is the unspent portion of the fund, by another $5 billion, so it would be like $11.7 billion in that fund.
That is not my understanding.
It's in the
and
budget.
I will be
It's
more
in the
than glad to go
president's
into
budget.
it and
It is
take
in the
another look.
president's budget.
But we
my
knew this was
point
going to
here
be a
is-
tricky issue, so we wanted to discuss it with
Well,
Congress.
what I'm trying to understand is the capitalization of this new organization. In your testimony, you indicated that it is $5 billion available for capitalization. Presumably, that means that money has been transferred to the new organization.
No, I just said that that is money that's available that's not being tapped by the airlines nor the by the airline airspace system, by the air traffic control system.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Thank you.
And with
Thank
that,
you.
I recognize